good evening, community. This is Brother Mark Scott, your co host here at both sides of the conversation. And of course, I am not by myself, but we are representing for our founder, Mr. John Henry, who's out in the community serving and connecting. But this is another Tuesday, October the 24th. So we have a hidden gem for you that is absolutely amazing. We can't wait to get to, but let me first give an opportunity for my amazing co-host to say something to the community. So let's go ahead and start off to my left. Miss Ayo, how are you doing this evening?
Good evening, community. Happy Tuesday and welcome to our Hidden Gem segment. We love that you guys are tuning in with us tonight. We know the Warriors are playing, so we appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're going to represent tonight. We're going to represent. Needless to say, I am still a little bit under the weather, so glad to be here. Glad to be with my beautiful co-host Miss Patricia and Mr. Mark Scott this evening in the absence of our wonderful founder, Mr. John Henry. And we do have a great show for you tonight, a wonderful hidden gem who will no longer be hidden and here to educate our community. So we're very excited to get the show started for you guys.
Well, we're always glad to have you. And of course, as you mentioned, we couldn't do this without our other co-host, Miss Patricia Fox. Patricia, say something to the community. How you doing?
How are you? Thank y'all for having me. Hi, community. So happy. Happy Tuesday. Excited to speak with our hidden gem. Like our sister Io said, excited, unveiling these beautiful gems and no longer be hidden, what's available to us as a community. So excited to get into today.
Well, absolutely. I love hidden gems. Again, there's so many wonderful people in the community that are doing such amazing things. To have this opportunity to showcase them on our platform truly is a gift. But we do always come to the community with the purpose, and that's to make sure you are always up to date on current news and events. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the news, and then we will be passing it over to our lovely two co-hosts for the events. So let's go ahead and jump into the headlines. Our first headline reads: California DMV suspends cruises, driverless taxis in San Francisco after company withheld car crash footage. The California Department of Motor Vehicles has suspended Cruise's permit to operate its driverless taxis in San Francisco due to safety concerns after the company failed to initially provide full video footage of a severe crash involving one of its vehicles. A Cruise robot taxi hit and injured a pedestrian who was propelled into its path by a hit and run driver. The DMV says the video shows the Cruise vehicle improperly trying to pull over after the collision instead of staying at the scene, putting the pedestrian at further risk. Cruise claims it shared the full video with regulators, but the suspension bars Cruise from offering paid driverless rides in San Francisco until further notice. Also in local news, San Francisco homeless man, a convicted pedophile, returns to school after arrest. Joseph Adam Moore, a registered sex offender, resumed camping near a San Francisco school after being arrested and released for refusing to move his encampment. Residents are outraged that Moore, who was convicted of child molestation in 1997, is being allowed to remain so close to a school. Moore says he likes the neighborhood and wants to help the homeless, but may post controversial signs again. The city is working to address residents' concern about Moore's presence near the school. Also, Oakland's First Fridays temporarily canceled from January to March 2024. Oakland's First Fridays, a popular monthly outdoor festival, announced it will be temporarily canceled from January through March of 2024 due to financial struggles. Organizers cite increased cost, lower attendance, fewer vendors, unpredictable weather, and a lack of a major sponsor as reasons for the hiatus. They hope to resume the event in April, but are uncertain about covering fees past June without city support. First Friday aims to continue community programs during the break before determining if they can relaunch the festival. And in national news, Texas Republicans ban women from using highways for abortion appointments. The Lubbock County Commissioners Court in Texas passed an ordinance banning abortion, abortion-inducing drugs, and travel for abortion in unincorporated parts of the county. The move comes amid efforts by conservative activists to further restrict abortion access after Roe v. Wade was overturned. Lubbock is now the largest jurisdiction in Texas to impose transportation bans related to seeking abortions. Supporters believe the ordinance will bolster the state's abortion restrictions, while critics argue it creates unnecessary barriers to health care. And in world news, The Guardian view on power of forgiveness. A freed hostage's gesture should not be forgotten. The Guardian's editorial praises 85-year-old Israeli hostage Yocheved Lifshitz, recently freed from Hamas captivity, for saying shalom and gripping her former captor's hand upon release. The editorial argues Lifshitz's gesture of forgiveness and humanity, despite the brutality of her abduction, offers an important lesson amid the Israel-Hamas conflict. It contends recognizing the humanity in enemies can break cycles of violence and calls for more hostage releases, a ceasefire in Gaza, and a long-term peace plan. Overall, The Guardian views Lifshitz's act as a timely show of kindness, illustrating all humans' shared humanity. That will do it for the news. Yeah, I think more people could take lessons from that. With so much going on in the world, I think kindness and empathy are, we need a lot more of it. It's just lacking so much in what we see today. But we'll go ahead and let you ladies take over and get to the events, because I know there's some amazing things going on in the community.
Right. In lighter news, we have some wonderful events for you guys this evening going on in our communities. BSOTC is announcing our public board meeting to be held on Wednesday, October 25th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Registration is required for the Zoom link. The Rafiki Coalition and Umoja Health invites you to a community health event on October 21st through the 25th from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. located at 601 Cesar Chavez in San Francisco. We'll provide flu shots, grocery boxes, and health screenings. Magic Zone's Lights On After School Arcade on October 26th from 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Ella Hill Hutch Community Center, 1050 McAllister Avenue in San Francisco. Esther's Orbit Room is accepting submissions for food operators. Responses will be accepted until October 27th. The SF Alliance and Black School Educators 14th Annual BSU Summit San Francisco on Friday, October 27th from 9:30 to 3 p.m. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. for 455 Golden Gate Avenue in San Francisco. Youth empowerment, free breakfast and lunch, games and prizes. Students register at the link below. Ocean Avenue Association presents Halloween Beer Crawl on October 27th, 2023 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Studio 121 invites you to the Rainbow of Arts free event on October 27th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Visitation Valley Elementary School, located at 55 Sherwin Street in San Francisco. There will be theater, food, dance, and more. OMI Cultural Participation Project is hosting Equity Keys, a free housing resource fair in October 28th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., located at 2301 San Jose Avenue in San Francisco. This free event offers free parking, raffles, and refreshments. Urban Advantage presents Colorstruck, Bridging the Racial Divide in America by Donald E. Lacey Jr., October 27th and 28th. San Francisco Safe Halloween Candy Explosion on Saturday, October 28th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is free. Food, carnival games, music, and more at Gilman Park, 903 Gilman Avenue in San Francisco. OMI's participation project, Ocean Avenue Annual Halloween Block Party, Saturday, October 28th from 12 to 3 p.m. at Unity Plaza, 1002 Ocean Avenue in San Francisco. Black Vines and Calabash are hosting Brunch and Sip, great food and wine, music, and community on October 29th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2300 Valdez Street in Oakland. Collective Impact and BMO Magic presents the Halloween Horror House on Tuesday, October 31st from 4 to 6 p.m. at Ella Hill Hutch, 1050 McAllister Street in San Francisco. The Dream Keeper presents A Pathway to Yourself, Discover Day on November 11th from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Visitation Boys and Girls Club located at 251 Leland Avenue in San Francisco. Latino Task Force is providing Section 8 housing waitlist application assistance on Friday, October 27th and November 3rd at the LTF Excelsior Hub, 4834 Mission Street in San Francisco from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Join Into Action for the Bayview Uncorked Southeast San Francisco celebration on Saturday, November 11th from 1 to 5 p.m. at Pier 70, Building 12, located at 822nd Street in San Francisco. The Rafiki Coalition is hosting the Black Business Expo on November 4th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Rafiki Coalition located at 601 Cesar Chavez Street in San Francisco. San Francisco Early Care and Education Advocacy Coalition hosts the second annual ECE Advocacy Retreat on Saturday, November 4th from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. MNC Lillian Rossi Hall at 362 Cap Street in San Francisco. HCV Section 8 Lottery Waitlist opens Monday, October 23rd, starting at 8 a.m. and closes November 6th at 5 p.m. Applications not submitted by 5 p.m. apply online only. Latino Task Force is providing Section 8 housing waitlist application assistance on Monday, October 23rd, the 30th, and November 6th at LTF Mission Hub, 701 Alhambra Street in San Francisco, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Murray's Athletic Development Excellence Foundation presents the interactive speaker series November 9th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Lincoln High School located at 2162 24th Street in San Francisco. Into Action announces the Black Culture Preservation Mini Grants Cycle 2 opening October 10th and closing November 10th, 2023 from December 1st to February 28th, 2024. The San Francisco Bay Area Theater Company invites you to the third New Roots Theater Festival for 6 performances over 3 days, Friday, Sunday, November 10th and 12th at Brava Theater Center, 2781 24th Street in San Francisco. Live stream options are available. The African American Shakespeare Company announces its 2023 to 2024 season beginning with Death of a Salesman, Saturday, October 28th through Sunday, November 12th at the Taub Atrium Theater, 401 Van Ness Avenue in San Francisco. The 4-series season subscription also includes Cinderella, Pipeline, and The Merchant of Venice. Purchase tickets for one show or for the series at the link below. San Francisco Recovery Theater presents Reflections in Black 2023, New Roots Theater Fest, 1 weekend, 15 performances, 50 Bay Area artists, November 10th through the 12th at the Brava Theater in San Francisco. Join the Rafiki Coalition for Visit the Presidio. Walk by the trail and visit the Golden Gate Bridge Visitors Center. On November 13th from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., the free shuttle leaves Rafiki located at 601 Cesar Chavez Street at 9:30 a.m. Free lunch will be provided. Excuse me. And now I'll turn it over to Patricia.
Thank you, Queen, for turning it over and reading the event so far. So to continue, we'll be having the Sister Small Business Saturday hosts holiday gift shopping on November 25th from 1 to 5 p.m. in the Black 1567 Fillmore Street in San Francisco. Visit the Farmers Market located at Southeast Community Center at 1550 Evans Avenue in San Francisco every Thursday now through November 30th from 3 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. They accept cash, debit, and EBT. Mackey's Corner presents Mackey's Corner Christmas on December 3rd from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Food, dance, Black Santa, and presents will be there. This event is to celebrate those who have been impacted by suicide. You must register to attend. The San Francisco NAACP celebrates 95 years of service at the annual Freedom Fund Gala, December 1st at the Hyatt Regency Grand Ballroom, located at 5 Embarcadero Center in San Francisco. Single tickets are $150 and tables of 10 are $1,500. Register at the link below or the number below. The Black Female Project hosts Invest in You, a transformative leadership program, December 1st and 2nd via Zoom with Charmaine McClare. Use the coupon code WINNING2023 for $1,000 off. Register at the link below. The OMI Cultural Participation Project, The Lion King, presents on Friday, December 8th, 7:30 p.m. at the Orpheum Theater, 1192 Market Street in San Francisco. Walters Wellness Group invites you to the Restorative Retreat on December 9th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a one-day retreat where a team of expert facilitators led by Dr. Kathia Walters will guide you through a transformational experience designed to help you get into your body and quiet your mind. For more information and to register, see the link below. The San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee cordially invites you to be a part of the conversation every second Monday in 2023. You may attend in person at City Hall, located at 1 Dr. Carlton B. Goodlett Place, or online by registering at the link below. Dreamkeeper San Francisco invites you to join us for community updates every third Wednesday in 2023. These meetings are open to the public via Zoom. For information and the meeting link, please visit the site below. As part of their fall exhibitions, the St. Joseph's Art Society features works by visual artist Christopher Birch and Transversing and on geographies of Blade and Bone, now through Friday, December 15th at 1401 Howard Street in San Francisco. For more information, follow the link below. Wu Yi presents the Holiday Pajama Jam for the Bottle and Blanket Party on Saturday, December 16th, 2023 from 1 to 4 p.m. at 4900 3rd Street in San Francisco. Come out for the Lorraine Hansberry Theater 2023-2024 season. The season starts with a soulful Christmas, a holiday concert with performances Thursday through Sunday, December 14th and 17th through the 17th at the Fort Mason Center for Arts and Culture. Tickets are on sale now. For more information, visit the link below. The OMI Participations Project's The Wiz is on Saturday, January 27th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. at the Golden Gate Theater, 1 Taylor Street in San Francisco. The African American Arts and Culture Complex invites you to the Season of Black Arts inaugural event. Introducing the October 2023 to February 2024 season at the AAACC, located at 762 Fulton Street in San Francisco on Sunday, October 29th, kicking off a captivating celebration of Black creativity and culture with special guests and performances. For more information and to register for free tickets, see the link below. Into Action announces the Black Cultural Preservation Mini Grants Cycle 3, opening on January 25th and closing on February 26, 2024 for the March 1st, May 31st, 2024 cycle. You can get up to $9,500 in funding for Black cultural preservation events in the Tenderloin, Lakeview, Sunnydale, Visitation Valley, and OMI. To apply, see the link below. San Francisco Human Rights Commission has regularly bi-monthly commission meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5 p.m. in the San Francisco City Hall Room 416. You can also attend via Zoom. Fathers to Founders hosts child support clinics every Tuesday and Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 232 6th Street. Receive essential guidance on child support debt reduction, resolving driver's license holds, pursuing custody of your children, and establishing visitation rights. For clinic appointments, call the number below. Dreamkeeper announces the Down Payment Assistance Loan Program. You could receive up to $500,000 for down payment assistance and up to $30,000 for closing costs, and connect with housing counselors, lenders, and realtors. For more information, see the links below. Walters Wellness Group invites you to SIP Paint Center every first, third, and fifth Friday, where you can unwind and set the tone for your weekend. Fueled by tea, creativity, and grounding, and it is hosted by Dr. Kathia Walters and the Walters Wellness Group. For more information, see the link below. Join Fathers to Founders for Fatherhood Reimagined Therapy group sessions every Tuesday night, 6 to 7:30, ongoing, beginning October 24th at 232 6th Street in San Francisco. There will be food served at each session. For more information, see the link or the number below. APRI is hosting youth workshops offering job referrals, resume building, skill building, internships, professional networking, and community service hours at 1301 Evans Avenue in San Francisco. To schedule a Zoom or phone appointment, see the link or number below. Come out to Fillmore's Friday Night Market every Friday from 4 to 9 p.m. on O'Farrell Street between Fillmore and Steiner for live music, barbecue, soul food, frozen desserts, retail vendors, games for kids, a dominoes tournament, prizes, and entertainment. Vendor booths are available. Register at the link below. Get your COVID-19 booster and monkeypox antiviral pill treatment Thursday 1 through 5 p.m. at 330 Ellis Street, as well as Saturdays 12 to 4 p.m. at 1221 Mission Street. The Community Living Room, open all day Monday through Friday, in the breakfast 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and grab-and-go lunch 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. at City of Hope Cafe, located at 750 Ellis Street in San Francisco. The San Francisco Office of Financial Empowerment announces Smart Money Coaching, which provides free, confidential, one-on-one financial guidance. The program is available to anyone working to receive services in San Francisco in English or Spanish, with additional translation services requested. For more information, see the link below. Be a mentor at SFUSD. Join SFUSD's school-based mentoring program, Mentor for Success. Sign up to volunteer as an individual or group mentor district-wide. Visit the link below. Would you like to promote your business or nonprofit or community impact? Sign up for our Hidden Gems show. Share your expertise on Educational Thursdays and be a panelist on Sunday's Conversations. Keep up with both sides of the conversation's latest shows and community outreach events. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at bsotc.org. Both Sides of the Conversation welcomes individuals who are interested in giving back to their community to join as volunteers. We value the positive impact volunteers can make and invite you to be a part of our mission to uplift and support our community. Both Sides of the Conversation request you kindly for your invaluable support for our podcast and community engagement endeavors. We cordially invite you to explore any of our donation links, as your generous contributions will greatly aid us in enhancing our programming. We would like to take this time to acknowledge the Dream Keepers Initiative and its support of the Both Sides of the Conversation programming. The Dream Keeper Initiative amplifies the voices of and invests in San Francisco's diverse Black communities of reform for safety, public safety, and addresses structural inequalities in San Francisco. Visit www.dreamkeepers.org to learn more. And don't forget about our upcoming show on Thursday, Educational Thursdays, featuring Jason Grant, supporting youth. And on Sunday, October 29th, 4 p.m., continuing our conversation about breast cancer awareness and risk prevention and support in Black communities. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Brother Mark.
Well, thank you, Sister Patricia and Sister Ayo. Y'all did an amazing job getting through those events. I'm just saying, nobody else has anybody as beautiful as we do reading events to y'all community. Y'all hope y'all appreciate this here. So, with that being said, we do have an amazing guest coming, and I want to make sure that we properly set the stage to bring Miss Angela Rivas up. Now, she's a friendly and helpful life insurance broker, and she has a special focus on mentoring and coaching women in the financial industry. She has a background extending 20 years in the medical field and over 3 years in financial services. She's gained valuable experiences and expertise to guide others towards financial security. And currently, her mission is to establish a safe network for women entrepreneurs where they can freely share experiences, collaborate with like minded individuals, and empower each other to achieve success. She's passionate about helping others and dedicated to creating a supportive community for women in business with a tagline: let's work together to build a brighter future. So, without further ado, let me present to some and introduce to others Miss Angela Rivas.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm super honored to be here. Like, extremely honored. We had this conversation before.
Yes, we did. And again, I hope you see there's nothing to be nervous about. But again, now this is your opportunity. You are no longer a hidden gem. We want to turn the platform over to you. Please tell the community who you are, what you're about, what you do, and how they can connect with you.
Most definitely. Well, you did a fine job at introducing me. My name is Angie Rivas, and I am your local, and my handle says that your local favorite life insurance agent. I really do have a passion for educating our community. Just like you said, I've been in the industry for a while now, but with the background in the healthcare, which I feel like it gave me an advantage to really know what our community needed and whatnot. So I really, really have a passion. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about where that passion started. Currently, my mission is really to help all of our queens to level up. There's so many women out there who are looking for an opportunity, who are looking to start a business, who are looking to just become the best version of themselves, and they just don't know how to start. They don't have a support system, they don't have anyone they can talk to, let alone have a tribe. We know that we live in a time where cattiness and meanness is at the top of everyone's priority. And my mission is to remove that in a safe space where women don't feel like their questions are dumb, or they're not asking a smart question or a good enough question to get their business up and running. And I want to change that. I want them to understand that there's no dumb question in business or in life general. Would if you don't ask a questions, or let me rephrase that, closed mouth don't get fed, right? So it is one of those things that, like, I'm just super passionate about it. Thank you so much. So it started really because I am a mom, but honest to God, the reason why I became a life insurance agent is because about 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, unfortunately, my heart stopped. And it came out of nowhere. It wasn't something that I expected. I'm a very healthy person now. Even then, I have a very rigid schedule when it comes down to my health. I get up super early and I work 90 minutes a day, every single day, 5 days a week. It doesn't stop. So when my heart stopped, it came as a surprise. And what was a bigger surprise is that afterwards, I was uninsurable. And to me that was a huge hit because I am a single mom. My kids and I, it's just us. They depend on me. And now that I am unable to now provide them with generational wealth or leave them with anything, for them to continue a life after I'm gone, it pretty much broke my heart twice. So I made it into a passion. I connected with my brother, and pretty much I ended up getting licensed. I found an amazing, and I mean just amazing agency to work with. As you guys can see, I smile when I talk about our agency. I'm partnered up with UE Financial, and my mentor, Damian Coach and Chelsea Mackey, have been instrumental to my growth. I mean, they definitely pour onto me, leveling up, making sure that I'm reading the proper books to make sure that I am in the best place possible. So that's just a little bit about how I got into it and who I'm working with now. So
I just really admire your passion. You can see it all in your face. Like you exude what it is that you love to do, and I commend you on that. Um, I recently just found out my son has a heart condition, and we've had several different insurance agents come on and things like that, and they've given me great information. Now with this newfound condition, what would be your advice for a parent wanting to get or trying to get um, more coverage for their child? Is that an option? And what would it look like going through that channel of trying to obtain insurance for them?
that is a phenomenal question. And it's actually something that comes up a lot. Um, the good thing about who I am, I'm independent 100%. I am contracted with all of the top rated carriers that there is, which means that I have an advantage of having a bigger portfolio of products that I can offer. Um, Crazy you say that because I am currently working with a client who has several conditions, and we have carriers that do help. I can't, like I tell all my clients, I can't promise you that it's going to go through because it's a on a case by case basis. It all depends on the medical and what's in the medical report when we do submit a policy or an application. But 9 times out of 10, I have a carrier that we can work with, and for the most part, um, they may offer you a benefit that can help you. So for me, I was able to, after my heart stopped, I wasn't able to get anything as far as like life insurance, whole life term, anything like that. But I was able to get a an accidental death, and that at least protects me, right? And that's what I needed. I need our community to understand that life insurance is not just about death, right? For me, it's protecting me against accident, but I also have a valuable plan on my daughter, which is an indexed universal life policy. And basically what I'm doing is I'm building wealth for her for when I'm no longer here and she turns 21 and she's ready to start her life, she's going to be set up. And as a matter of fact, this little girl brags about her little IUL, right? Because she knows how much money she's going to get when she turns 21. But it's the fact that I'm leaving her in a better position than most of us. I couldn't do it for myself, but it doesn't mean I couldn't do it for my kids. So to answer your questions, we, as an independent agent, we have the ability to contract with many carriers and find a solution to the challenge or to the problem.
That is amazing. Sister Patricia, I'm gonna let you jump in here because this is obviously, since I'm surrounded by ladies, I'm gonna be a gentleman and offer you an opportunity to ask your question as well first.
Thank you so much, Brother Mark. Angie, I am so excited to speak to you because I'm a former insurance producer myself, so I am gagging, okay?
Let's go, girlfriend. Let's talk.
And let me tell you, I want to ask you more about your mentorship and what it means to you, because I know when I was in the industry and now I am uninsurable as a breast cancer survivor who also has MS. So I know about that devastation. And I love that you talked about, life insurance isn't just about the death benefit because there is a living benefit. You can borrow against the policy if you have universal or whole. And there is just so much of a plethora of information that you could share. So while I don't have children yet and I won't be able to get insurance, it was just such an aha moment because I was like, oh, yes, accidental, and death insurance, I can get that, outside of group term through work. So, and just even listening to your share just now about, yes, you can take policies out in your children so they can be set up by a certain time. So there's different avenues. So you need to talk more about like your outreach, like how do you speak to different women so that they can be set up and know all of the pathways? Because again, even as a former producer, I have policies for for my nieces and nephews, but I didn't even think about, oh yeah, let me get an accidental and death policy, you know?
Yeah. Well, what you don't know can definitely hurt you. And I did steal that from my coach because that's something that he uses a lot. What you don't know will, and it can definitely hurt you. So number one, having a trusted advisor, someone who understands products in and out, is key. Second, how do I talk to women? Is just what we're having conversations everywhere I go. We 99% of the time I'm on my phone talking about life insurance or putting someone through the system or getting another agent license. So people hear that and it just starts conversation. But when they don't see me on the phone or when I'm not talking about life insurance, somehow, and I truly believe that God is using me as a vessel. I the conversations just come out. Whether I see a mom at the store with the kid, and it's just a matter of, oh my God, your kid, and we start talking about the clothes and this, and what do you do? I love, usually it's, I love your energy. What do you do? So I just go into explaining that I love educating the community, especially single mothers, on the importance of being financially protected and making sure that their offsprings are protected as well, because we all have debt, right? So when we pass away, we're going to leave some sort of debt. So making sure that the kids don't pick up on that generational debt and they start the life with zero debt is key for me. So that's how I usually start my conversations. It's just, it comes naturally, I think. Lately, I have been doing a lot more face-to-face events. I recently had an event at, I don't know if you guys know Oakland much, but Beast Oakland is a well-known brand in Oakland. And he usually gives us a space, or gives entrepreneurs a space once or twice a year to come and just break bread with community and spend time. And that's what I love doing. I love spending time with my community. So I did that this past weekend. And then, as you mentioned, I love mentoring. I love empowering our queens. Uh, I myself know what it's like to be broken, to be alone, to be single, and to feel like the entire world is against you and not have someone behind you. And I've been able to, thankfully, and I thank my higher power, that I've been able to heal a lot of parts of myself. And with that has come the wisdom that now I can give to my fellow queens, and just remind them that they're not alone. It may feel like we're alone, but we're not.
Y'all are absolutely not alone. And let me just say, because I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little jaded because there's so much leaning into the women's empowerment, and I'm all for it. Look, I got 3 daughters. Like I'm all for women's empowerment. And I'm not gonna get onto my soapbox about men and women. That's not this conversation. But you mentioned breaking bread with the community. Can you talk about some of the questions that when you sit down with people, that when you're educating them, what kind of questions should they ask to learn about different types of instruments? Because a lot of people, especially, again, if we're just trying to survive, we're just struggling to pay bills, life insurance almost seems like a luxury or something to think about after the fact. But there are actually financial tools and instruments that you can use. Can you talk about some of the different products and some of the questions that people should ask to get educated when they're sitting down with a professional like yourself?
Most definitely. I think some of the questions that they should ask themselves first, right, is what is it? What's your ultimate goal in life? And then from there, I map or back map it. When I sit down with clients, I basically ask them. I do a full financial analysis, by the way. It's not just something where you're gonna call me and hey Angie, I need a quote. I don't work on quotes. I do financial analysis because I am obligated by law to make sure that I put someone in a vehicle that really is going to benefit them and that's not going to put them in a huge financial strain, right? So by doing a full financial analysis, I'm able to understand where their finances are at, how much discretionary income do they have at the end of the day. And that's basically where I then work. Based on their discretionary income, I begin my questions to them. For the most part, my clients don't come with enough questions. I could probably tell you a few things that they should think about as far as like medical, making sure that that the product that they are selecting is not going to how do I say this? That they don't get stuck on a product just because they heard it off on TikTok or because they heard it on a social media platform, but really be open to listening to what the professional has to say, right? Because while a client may say, I want a term because I owe 30 or I still owe 30 years on my home, when I do their financial analysis and I realize that not only do they have a home, but they have two other businesses, and then they have two kids that are coming up on college years. And then on top of that, they have two jet skis, and then the wife is starting a business. Then I need to think further, like, okay, it's not just the home that we need to protect, but we really need to protect your entire family to make sure that in case you're gone, they can continue doing what you're setting them up for, you know? So that's how I pretty much work with clients. And again, I'm a strict person for their finances, making sure that they're going to be placed in a correct vehicle and it's not going to put them in a financial strain. So if I can suggest anything to our clients is to, we spend money on crazy things, right? I'm a woman. You guys can see I have braids, right? I spend crazy money on crazy hair stuff. But before I really had to tighten up and really put my priorities in order and really think, like, is the hair worth me not putting $125 a month aside for the benefit of my daughter? It wasn't, you know. So when we start thinking that way, when we start changing our mentality and start really thinking about what's important and what's not important, that's where change begins. And that's where a lot of my messaging is. When my clients say, well, you know, it's really a bill, it really isn't. It's an investment to your family and to your future generations. You know, just knowing that my daughter, because I'm looking at her right now, knowing that when I pass, she won't have to worry about a college tuition. She can pull money out of her little IUL and buy a home if she wants to. She can go travel the world if she wants to, because of how it was structured. She's not going to have to worry about it. You know, so it's truly a passion, as you guys can see.
So I appreciate you saying that you do the full financial analysis. I've shopped around with a couple of different brokers, and they're just like, okay, what do you have? What are you willing to pay? Okay, these are what your options are. You know what I mean? Not what best fits you in your circumstances and or your children's pre-existing conditions or conditions that may happen. So as a veteran in the financial world, what advice would you give women that are just starting out in this field?
Really is to find a mentor. So for me, that was key. I don't know if I touched on it, but before I found UE Financial Group, I bounced around, and mentorship is really key in your development and your growth, and even in how you speak and how you handle yourself in your profession. They say you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. I'm thankful enough that I hang out with high quality individuals, Black excellence, to be quite honest, you know. But and it's because I knew that in order for me to get to the next level and for the words to really come out and convey correctly, I needed to level up. So number one was mentorship. I needed to get that mentorship down. And then number two, I needed to have an open mindset, a coachable mindset, and not just no, I don't want to do this because, you know, because I'm going outside of my comfort zone, but really being coachable and ready to hear and then execute. Because I came in here not knowing anything, but my mentor did. So as long as I remain coachable, listen, and then execute, I think those are the three key things. And then read. I actually have my books here that these are the books, the most instrumental books that I think our coach has given us to read right now. The 5 Levels of Leadership is number one, you know, especially in our industry, especially for those that are trying to build an agency like myself. So reading a lot is instrumental to me, you know, and staying tapped into your leadership will also help become successful.
Well, I want to get into that because you talking about leadership, and I know because you, again, I'm going to go back to this primarily because you mentor women in particular. Can you talk about in your own journey some of the challenges that you've seen in trying to mentor young women that they faced, and that how you've overcome them, and what seems to be some of the, I guess, I guess consistent things or challenges that you see?
Man, that is actually a really good question. It's something that I was asked a lot this weekend, especially because of the network that we just launched. The biggest challenge is women being in their own heads. It's that little voice in here, right? I'm a huge advocate of mental health. I have regular mental health visits with my provider. We talk on a weekly basis. We unload. It's the person that I trust the most, right? So what I convey to my ladies is finding a safe space and then unloading in that space that quiets that little brain, that little voice in here that lets you hear a little more. I have encountered a lot of challenges with women saying, I see you doing this, but I can't do this. I see you doing this, but personally, I can't do this. And it's a little heartbreaking because number one, I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 5 years old, across the border. I still remember crossing the border and getting super muddy and having to live in a roach infested hotel, having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day and go with my parents to pick up a cardboard box just so we can make a living that day. So I wasn't born here. I had to hustle to get to where I'm at. So if I did it, why can't anyone else did it? On top of that, when I was 5 years old, I was hit by a car. My sister passed away, and I was left with a severe brain injury. So I had to relearn how to talk, how to walk, how to do everything. So again, if I can do it, why can't you do it? And it starts with that little mindset in here, right? The moment I decided that I was going to quiet it down, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, right? My coach is probably listening to me right now. I still call them like, oh my God, I'm falling. But what I'm saying is that voice is a lot quiet now because I decided to remind myself that I survived every one of those bad days. You know, it stopped me at one point, it detoured me at one point, it put a big boulder, a big rock in my path at one point, but I ran through it, I chucked through it, and I did what I needed to do, and I'm still doing it. Every day is a challenge. I'm a single mom. Shoot, I've been single forever and a day, but because my focus is always my kids and my business. I'm married to the game. I'm sorry, guys. Um, but really, it is remaining focused and knowing, just looking back and saying, you know what, this little thing in here, this little voice telling me I can't, is wrong, because I can see my resume of the times that I fought and I chat and I won, and every single time that I dropped, who lift, well, for me at least, who lift me up, it was my higher power. It's been me and him against the world. So you guys are going to get me started on a whole nother topic, but I'm super, super passionate about just changing the mindset of the women to understand that they can do anything that they've set their minds to. Like literally, we say we're going to do something and we get it done.
Well, I can definitely admire that fighting spirit, and I think being able to look at your own resume, because again, if you're still here, you're still breathing community. Y'all be encouraged. You've survived everything that's come up against you up to this point, so you've got to win in record. So take that attitude and use that to motivate yourself and push yourself forward. Ms. Rivas, I have to just say your story is more than inspiring already. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the practical things in your mentorship process, that you kind of structure to kind of help guide other people through?
That's a good question. I believe in pouring to the ladies, or to my group, to my team. So one of the things that I put in place is every single day a check-in, right? They're gonna get tired of me, but I don't believe in not checking in with your team every single day. From one day to the next, something can totally crazy happen. I'll just give you a quick example. I fell asleep yesterday at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. last night. At midnight, my ex-partner was calling me to tell me that a dear friend of ours had passed away. So what I'm saying is things can happen in a matter of a second. And if I don't check in with my team, then I can lose somebody, or they can get lost in their own or drowned in their own thoughts and their own emotions. You know, I thank God every single day that I'm strong enough to be able to get up when things like that happen, and thank God that I'm still here and keep it pushing. Now it's in the memory of so and so. Now we're gonna work harder because he's no longer here, you know. So I truly believe in checking in with them, and that's a standard across the board. I'm pretty sure the team is listening right now. They're all in a group chat, and I believe in pouring onto them. What helps me, I give it back to them. I made the ladies all look at themselves in the mirror today and really look at themselves and really tell themselves that they are beautiful, that they are strong, that they can do this no matter what, because it starts with yourself. Like you have to rewire yourself.
Very
With
beautiful.
your
Oh, go ahead, Sasayo.
go ahead, Patricia.
No, I was just very inspired, and I'm very into, mirror affirmations and truly seeing yourself beyond yourself. And I just, again, because I'm truly just gagging about this whole insurance conversation. So I wanted to know if you had insurance before you had your medical experience, and, how you pivoted, afterward. Like I know she spoke about, having a IUL for your daughter in place since you are uninsurable at the time. But did you have insurance before? And can you kind of break down, because we did have a question also in the comments about like what documents you need when you're looking for insurance. So for people who may have group term, if they want to get private insurance or come to you at your agency, what documents may they need for insurance? But start with your journey, because I want to know if you had insurance.
So, I am the typical story, really. Before my heart stopped, when my son was born, he was born in 03. So in 05, I ended up getting life insurance. And I was young, dumb, and I actually saw it as a bill, canceled it, and never got it again. And next thing you know, I can never get life insurance again. So again, it's a passion, right? Because I know what it's like. I've been there. I'm living that currently. I can speak on it, and I really it's a real tragic, it's a real tragedy for me not to have life insurance, having the fact that I did get it at one point and then canceled it. So it is part of my story, and I think there's a reason for it, because there's a lot of people like myself who are out there possibly getting a life insurance policy, but because they're not educated enough. I wasn't told that I had living benefits. I wasn't told that the policy I was getting was actually an IUL, so I was going to be able to create income or create cash within the policy. I wasn't informed correctly, so I didn't see it as a value, and I canceled it. So when you're asking me what do my clients have to do, what documents do they have to bring, honestly, no documents. I don't need any documents. I just need your full attention, because like I said, I'm going to do a full financial analysis. I'm going to determine and figure out what is best suitable for you, depending on all of your assets and your debt, and all the other good stuff. So I really tell my clients to just relax, and then allow me to educate them on the importance and what the benefits of life insurance has.
That was a great question. I was going to kind of like pivot on seeing the question in there about the documents with the pre-existing conditions, right? My thing is honesty is the best policy, right? Because once they go through everything, they're going to have to figure out and find out if anything is, going on with you or the children, whomever it is you're trying to get the policy on. So for people who have a pre-existing condition, something that's not as vigorous as, your heart stopping and or brain aneurysms and or more on the light, I guess not even light because it's not a light situation, like diabetes and or a child with ADHD or something more of that type of pre-existing condition. What would those policies look like? And is it a higher paying policy that you have to pay out more for?
That's a fantastic question. It all depends on the medical report It depends on what is pulling on the client's medical report, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be able to give you because they had an aneurysm, it's going to be a table this, or it's going to be a graded this. It doesn't work that way. It's really on a case by case basis. But the good thing, right, is when you work with an independent agent like myself, again, I'm contracted with all of the top rated companies. I can get people who have diabetes insured. I can get clients who have had an aneurysm insured. There are guidelines, there are certain things that I have to stay within, but that's for me to discuss with the client, right? I have to definitely ask them, when was the last time you had a stroke or a seizure or an aneurysm, and what medications, and from there I'm able to go back into the underwriting guidelines and really figure out, okay, is this a good product for my client, or do I need to move somewhere else? But to answer your questions, I work with all of those clients. I'm able to get, especially our diabetes patients who can't get covered anywhere else. As long as their A1C is controlled and within a certain level. I won't say the number now because I don't want to give anyone false hopes, right? But I do work with patients or clients that have diabetes, and we do get them covered. And as most of the time, it's not even a super rated uh, premium. Is pretty inexpensive and pretty affordable for them. So that's actually the client that I'm working with right now. He is a diabetes patient, and fingers crossed, it looks like we're getting him approved.
So the medical report is one of the documents needed when assessing case by case.
The client doesn't bring that in. It is something that happens in the back end with the carriers. So the carriers have access to the medical investigation report. Basically, it pulls prescriptions, medical diagnosis, anything that is reportable by a practitioner is going to pull on that. MIB is what it's called, and from there, that's how clients get rated.
Yeah, those actuaries, they go deep. They can pull up all kind of stuff. They worse than the CIA and the
Oh
FBI.
yeah, yeah.
But
That I mean, sorry, I was going to say that it's absolutely right, because if you've had a DUI or any felony, you can't get life insurance. So it's really important to get it while you're healthy, while you haven't gotten into trouble, and basically that's healthy, not gotten into trouble, and you don't have anything major popping up in the back end.
Because that
yeah,
was one of the issues I had for my son, just being transparent. I didn't know that, I had to say anything about ADHD, because I was like, that's not really like a medical, it doesn't prohibit him from much. So I didn't see it as a pre-existing condition where he was diagnosed very young, but he's gone through, all the medication and getting off the medication and going through therapy and all those things that has helped him transition to being a kid that actually is highly functioning, and on the honor roll and doing all these great things. I didn't see it as something that was a preventive thing or something that needed to be reported. And so the person that was doing the insurance at the time, both of my boys had Gerber life insurance for the longest. And so transitioning as they've gotten older, after a certain age, you have to give them new life insurance. So for the last year, I've been going through those type of ropes with both of them, and things that were diagnosed previously before transitioning them. And then up until now, these are the bumps in the road that I've been getting. So, just as you're sharing your testimony, why not? You know what I mean? There might be somebody still listening there, like, okay, I don't feel like I have all these things going on. I don't feel like I'm eligible for it, but there still is a policy for everyone, some way, somehow, to get you coverage, even if it's just to make sure that you're covering it for your children in the long run, you know what I mean? And just covering any debt or assets that you may have that you want to make sure that you can still pass down to them.
Correct. And I was gonna say something, and I also work with clients who are on the higher end, right? Because even those clients that are on the higher end, they already have life insurance policies. But what I do for them is, we all know that banks nowadays are closing down, they're shutting down, they're taking our money and running with it. And on top of that, they don't really give us good enough dividends at the end of the year or at the end of the month or whatever it is. When you become your own bank with a life insurance policy, which is called an IBC, as long as it's structured correctly, and I have a team that's completely specialized in that, you know, um, you become your own bank. You don't need to use a bank anymore. I mean, you get all of the goodness. So what the bank does is they get your money and they invest it into a life insurance policy. They make more money, and then they put out loans. That's how they make their money. So why not become your own bank? You
Uh,
know?
and I'm glad you brought that up because I was actually going to ask you because you mentioned all the TikTok advice that's out there and the social media advice. But I heard of a strategy called pooling on premium, where
Mm.
basically there's people who are identified elderly in their family. And some of the family members would get together and they would take out a very large policy, but they would get a group of family members to pay the premium. So that way, when nature took its course, they actually would have a windfall from the policy that everybody could kind of divide. Could you talk a little bit about that as a wealth building strategy, or is that something that is actually doable?
You know, that is a good question, and I'm not versed on that subject, so I wouldn't want to put my foot in my mouth. But I definitely, whoever has a question about that, can definitely connect you with my advanced markets. But um, I'm so sorry. That's something that I'm just not there yet. You know.
Not a problem, not a problem. I know you've got a team of people that can help answer those questions, but again, these are the kind of things that I don't think, again, we don't have these conversations enough in our community. So the
Mhm.
fact that you're on the front line, actually sitting down with people, helping people, and mentoring others to be able to do the same, I think is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
Well, I appreciate you. What I do have is family members who obviously want to protect their elders, right? And we offer what's called a final expense, and they all pitch in to paying because those final expenses can be a little pricey. I'm not gonna lie. It's the end of time and usually a large amount of money that you have to get. So I do have family members that pitch in together, get a final expense policy. So when it does cut out, when it's time for for them to pay for it, it's usually one owner though, and then that owner is the one that decides how it's dispersed. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
awesome,
What
awesome.
what are the qualifications for the final expense policy? Mom
Um,
and Dad, don't think nothing. I know y'all watching.
so final expense usually start at age 45 and over. And it's really just that it covers either 20, 40, $50,000 depending on what you want. And it's usually for people who have, for the most part, people already have term whole and but they just need that little extra, right? Everything else covers the home, the businesses, the toys and the kids tuition, but when it's said and done, it's not covering the flowers or it's not going to cover the cremation. So people run it and get an additional $20,000 as a final expense just so they can have, just to make sure that even a mariachi, like that's one of my clients did. It was for the mariachi and that's all they cared for. And total respect, right? They want to make sure that their loved ones go out in style and feel appreciated. Um, so yeah, they come in different values, and it all depends on what the client needs and wants at that point. And there is no medical for those because it's final expense. Um, but yeah.
I wanted to jump in because you talked about, which I love. Again, I am so geeked right now. So you talked about, the benefit of, getting your children insured early so that it's, for preventative as a preventable measure, because we don't foresee sickness, down the line. And again, ahead of those mistakes, because a lot of people aren't aware that, yes, being a felon disqualifies you from being eligible at all. We're not even talking about a health history or medical history. But because you mentioned protection, can you talk about some more of how IULs may protect your existing assets if you are a holder of that? Not just for minors, but like you said, you had a policy before too. So even for an adult, how it can protect your existing assets?
So an IUL basically is an index universal life policy, right? And it goes again to what I said. It all depends on a financial analysis that's done to determine what your debt and what your needs are. And then from there, the IUL is or the illustration is drafted based on the numbers that you get from that financial analysis and the discretionary that's left after everything is said and done. Then you run numbers and you show the clients what their guarantee would be depending on whatever amount you put that you want. So I can't really give you an example because it's not like a whole life where I can say we're gonna, a client is gonna apply for $500,000 and it for sure is gonna cover the $300,000 home and the $200,000 toy, right? An IUL is kind of an investment vehicle, so you're putting in money to make it grow. So that's why I said the question is a little tricky. I see you. So it depends on how much you're going to invest and how much is it going to grow to cover your assets in the long run. Most of my clients don't use IULs to cover assets; they use it to build, to accumulate cash and to build. Number one, for college tuitions. Number two, I have a client who has 3 homes and he wanted an IUL so he can build cash to buy the 4th home. So he's thinking differently, right? He wants to be able to put 400 or 500 bucks in an IUL and build a substantial amount of money. And then in 4 or 5 years, pull that money and put it as a down payment. Hey, tax-free money, who doesn't want that, right? And that's another thing I did want to touch is when you have an IUL and you take money out of it, it's tax-free. No baby mama drama, no baby daddy drama, no Uncle Sam, like that is. And it's funny because I don't want to talk bad about my baby daddy, but I always tell my daughter, like, your daddy can't even come after this money, so so it's super, super protected, like 100%. You got that guarantee floor too. So in case the market ever crashes, and let's say you have 100,000 in the IUL that you've actually put in it, it's going to get protected. It's never going to go lower than what you have gained, and that's another beautiful thing about it is I want my minority people to understand that the wealthy get wealthy through these vehicles, this IUL specifically, because they insure their babies within 14 days of being born. They put in 50, 100 bucks, and by the time the kid gets to be 21, 25, you're close to, I don't know, $500,000 more, so it's incredible what I've learned in just being in the industry, what I've learned from my mentors, and the teachings and the trainings. Most of us don't even know that Walt Disney took out a life insurance, or he took out $50,000 from 4 of his life insurance policies to start Walt Disney, just like Ronald McDonald's did. He took money out of his policies to start the House of Ronald McDonald's. The Pamper Chef lady that also did it. So there's a lot of companies out there, household names that started from a life insurance policy.
Yeah, Master P was another one. He started No Limit Records from an insurance policy. So, and again, I can't celebrate you enough right now in just this short amount of time that we have for what you're doing, because so many of our people in our community don't know about these tools and that what we have access to. So I do want to just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. But as we get ready to wrap, I do want to ask, what's your vision for the future, particularly for women supporting each other in business? And then how can we as a community be stronger through it?
My vision is, again, to continue to create a safe space for women, a space where they can come and feel super genuine, to just be themselves and ask for the help. Again, what we don't know will hurt us and can hurt us. And when you're out there trying to do things alone, I did it, I tried doing it alone and I almost got in trouble because, again, I'm in the life insurance industry, right? I can't just do this alone. I need to have a mentor. I need to have somebody to help me. And that goes with any other industry, whether you're in the beauty industry, hair industry, you have to have somebody that can kind of guide you or you can get in trouble, so number one is creating that safe space for women to just feel comfortable enough to say, hey, sis, or hey, Patricia, I don't know if you know this, but I'm stuck here, or put it out in the group and just say, I don't know who's here that is a graphic designer, but I'm stuck moving the L on this or whatever it is, just ask questions, because that's how you get empowered, by asking questions and letting others teach you and show you and provide wisdom. And how everyone can help. Number one is kindness, right? We're in a world right now where everyone is mean to each other. And for what reason? It's many reasons. A lot of us come from a broken background. Yeah, we come from a broken background, and and just knowing that we come from a broken background, we don't have to respond to each other so negatively. Like, kid you not, there are people that I run into in the streets and they're just super nasty. And I just look at them and I let them know, like, I have no idea what's going on in your life, but I will pray for you and hope you heal, because you just never know. And 99% of the time when they hear me say that, they turn around and they're like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be that nasty. You kind of just bring their whole wall down. So to me, it's just remind or for us bringing our own wall down and not taking it personal, remembering that we don't know what's happening in the next person's life. And I think that's a great start just there, is because it's a lot that we could do, right? But just bringing our own anger down and understanding where our anger comes from, so we don't project that onto other people, is a fantastic start for everybody.
Wow, wow. Before we go, ladies, do y'all have any more questions for her before we give her an opportunity to do shout outs?
I don't have any questions. I just want to give you your flowers for sharing your testimony overall, because your testimony can be the driving force of motivation for someone else. And to see what is possible, the infinite possibilities in everything that we do. You know what I mean? In the challenges that has built this amazing champion in front of us. I commend you, sister. I commend you on your journey. I commend you on you walking in your purpose and understanding and coming out of that wilderness and being triumphant in everything that you've done. You have that suit of armor on, and I see it. You are gleaming, and it exudes from the inside. So I commend you, and I thank you for sharing your journey along with all of the information that you've given our community tonight. And community, make sure that you are getting all of her information that is on the ticker going across the bottom, not only for your financial and insurance information, but if you are looking for a big sister, if you are looking for a mentor, this is a sisterhood, and she's accepting male applicants as well.
We sure are.
We have to have the balance, because our men are our leaders, and we have to understand what everybody's position is. But with us, we are the multipliers. So anything that they give us and develop in us, we will multiply it and pass it on to our sisters along the way. So I thank you, Miss Angie, for coming on this evening and sharing everything with us.
And I thank you for having me. It's been a true pleasure. I know there was a question on the screen as to like my and I don't know if you want me to answer it as far as my challenge that I faced as an entrepreneur. Number one is not having enough belief or people believing in me. Like, I really had to figure out my own belief system, because that'll break you. My parents didn't support me. My brother, who's a life insurance agent, didn't support me. My little sibling didn't. My neighbors didn't support me. And it was like, because I was transferring from healthcare to a whole new field, right? But I knew in my heart of heart that this is where I needed to be. This is where I was going to make the biggest impact in life. So to answer the question, my biggest challenge has been myself, but I'm also my own solution. And that's what I'm working on right now, is really just working on myself, being better, so I can pass that on to my collective, to my girls, to my guys.
Wow. Well, again, we do want to thank you. And of course, we want to make sure we give you an opportunity for those people who have supported you, who stood there side by side with you as you've been going through this journey. Please give them their shout out, give them their flowers. We don't want them to say, hey, you was on both sides of the conversation. You didn't shout us out. You didn't say my name. Talk let the community know who's been in your corner, who supported you.
Man, who's been in my corner has always been UE Financial. Mr. Damian Mackey, Mrs. Chelsea Mackey. Those are my two mentors. The two people that I trust the most with my freaking life. Aside from that, my kiddos. My kiddos have been instrumental in what I do and are a really big force in motivating me. My daughter is one that when I don't work or when I'm just laying on the couch, sometimes I'm sending out messages just laying on the couch. It's like, so is that how we work now? So the fact that I have them telling me is like, oh, okay, okay, higher standards, So my babies and then my team, my team that my girls, number one, Sally, and then Mariah. Those are my two running mates right now. And they just really super motivate me to be the best I can be, because not only is my little daughter watching me, but now I have a team of girls, a team of women who want to do the same, who want to go out there and change their communities and educate as many as possible. So I just want to be the best that I can be for them. And I really, really thank them very, very much from the bottom of my heart for always pouring onto me. And even when I feel like I'm alone, they just happen to send me a quick message. Like they just get the little tinglies like, oh, she needs it. So that's really it. Last and foremost, or it should be first and foremost, is God, because without him, I wouldn't be here. He has given me a voice. He has given me this beautiful journey, the challenges that have changed me and molded me into who I am now. I am thankful for all of that. For everyone who didn't support me too, because you put in a little fire underneath me. So I appreciate you too. You can't leave them behind. It's the people that don't support us and the people that support us. So I thank everyone.
Well, we once again we want to thank you, Miss Rivas. You are an agent of generational wealth. You are an asset to the community. We want to continue to celebrate you and just know that you are always welcome to come back here. If you have anything you want to share, promote, please don't hesitate to connect with us. We would love to have you back again. Plus, in anybody in your network community, we're always looking for people that we can highlight and showcase, particularly on our hidden gems.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining us. It has been an absolute honor and a privilege, and give our respects to the rest of your family and your team.
Thank you so much again. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And hopefully it won't be the last time that we see each other.
Definitely, definitely. Well, on behalf of the Bishop John Henry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, community. Wow, what an amazing hidden gem that was. But all right, now come on, y'all. Hey, yo, Patricia, talk to me. What did y'all get from this conversation this evening?
I actually have a final expense, but I didn't know about it. Probably would have been a lesser expensive route to do accidental death. But I was geeked as all ever. And I wanted to emphasize, but I didn't get a chance to emphasize on closing out how, because she's not a captive agent, she's able to actually market and get actual rates. Because, for instance, the company I work for, we absolutely did not insure felons. But because she's an independent broker, she can find, so to kind of emphasize that trust, because when you're a captive agent, you have to do what's in the best interest of the company versus what's in the best interest of the client. And brokers are actually a better person to. So I wish I would have been able to to just drive that home, but she was phenomenal. Just her story and her own, like her willpower, and the fact that she was so transparent and sharing, like coming as an immigrant, what she went through and losing her sister and all the things, like you could tell she turned that pain into passion and purpose. Oh man, like if anything, I learned my working in integrity.
Absolutely, absolutely. What about you, Sister Ayo? How about you?
Coachable mindset. That rung a bell. Everyone knows I'm always here. If you see me looking down, I'm taking notes because I always have to go back through, and I utilize this in my day-to-day life. You know what I mean? It's certain things that we pick up on every hidden gem that comes on here every educational Thursday and open forum conversation that we have on Sundays that I'm consistently learning. And I do have the coachable mindset. Just being a part of this team in general, I've unlearned so many things and has helped me grow immensely in my personal life, business life, friendships, relationships, in so many different aspects. And I really appreciate everything that we learn. Another takeaway is we may be our biggest critics, but we're also our best solution. And I feel that within every fiber that I am, with the way that she was able to be so transparent about where she's come from, where she is, and where she's growing to, what her mindset and what her vision is for herself, and not only for herself, but for her legacy, for her children. I have the utmost respect for her. And I appreciate her transparency because you never know who's watching. You never know how that little glimpse into her story could have motivated somebody and lit the fire under them to say, you know what, let me look left because somebody's had it worse than me. How dare I sit here and utilize my little pity story as a crutch as to why not? Let me go ahead and get on my 2 feet and stand tall on my square and make sure that I'm able to have this same tenacity and drive when it comes to myself. You know, that discipline that it takes to really get up out of your own mind, that's the worst place. You know, idle mind is the devil's playground. And we will no longer play victim to his playground or allow him to be our puppet master. We will have our own mind. We will be able to share our struggles in a way that will motivate someone else and not be ashamed of it or turn a shy eye and make ourselves feel embarrassed by it. No, it's the driving force. That's what's going to get you there. And I commend her, not just only for all of the information she shared with us on, you know, life insurance and the importance of it. We've had so many different agents come on here, but for her transparency and how it motivated her to make sure that she's educating the community. My hat's off to her. My hat's off to her.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and it's funny as I'm sitting here just watching the screen that there's a pattern that I noticed in all three of you sisters. One of them is your honesty and your transparency. It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, to tell your story without trying to gloss it up and only tell the good parts. And that comes from somebody who's confident in who they are and has reached a certain level of peace that they can turn their past trauma and pain into passion and power to help other people. So I just, again, I want to thank you ladies again for being such amazing co-host. It's an absolute honor to come here and work, volunteer with you guys. Community, again, on behalf of the bishop, we hope that you understand how committed we are to making sure we bring you not only information, news, and events, but stories that resonate, that are honest, that are truthful, because no matter what you're going through, no matter how life is treating you, you're not by yourself. You're not the only one. And if somebody else has saw a way to pick themselves and get up and do something to improve their life, you can use their story as your motivation to do the same. And again, so we just want to thank you, community, for tuning in. Again, we want to thank Ms. Rivas, her entire team. Again, we want to thank the team here, both sides of the conversation, everybody working behind the scenes. We work hard to try to bring you the best that we possibly can. So please continue to tune in. We'll be here Thursday night for Educational Thursdays. Sunday night, we've, of course, got the Sunday conversation. But please, if you connect with us at all, support both sides of the conversation, go to our donation links, go to the website, check out the newsletter. If you have events, send them to us. We want to make sure that we can do everything we can to continue to uplift and support our community. And once again, on behalf of the bishop, I ain't doing no benediction, but I will say this, community, we love you and hope that you've got some value from this conversation tonight. Have a good night.